In the farthest reaches of the galaxy lies a planet that even the most powerful alien civilizations dared not conquer. Kaker, the Death World. A place so dangerous that no army, no matter how advanced, could survive its toxic storms, shifting landscapes, and terrifying creatures. For centuries, Kaker's name struck fear into the hearts of those who heard it. But humanity, led by the brilliant and fearless Commander Aiden Reese, approached the planet in a way no one had ever dared before. Instead of using brute force, they sought to understand the planet, to adapt to its ways, and to learn from the very creatures that had driven every other race away. As the humans began to form bonds with the terrifying beasts of Kaker, they uncovered the secrets of its ecosystem, proving that survival didn't come from domination. It came from respect and knowledge. In an unexpected twist, humanity transformed Kaker, turning it from the galaxy's most feared world into a symbol of human ingenuity, resilience, and mastery. The galaxy would never again see humanity as mere survivors, but as rulers who had tamed a world that no one else could even hope to conquer. What will happen when the power of Kaker is harnessed? And how will the rest of the universe react when they realize the humans, with their wisdom and understanding, have become the true masters of the Death World? Kaker, known throughout the galaxy as the Death World, was a planet that had earned its terrifying reputation long before any species dared to set foot on its surface. It lay in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, isolated and hostile, surrounded by rumors and myths about its uninhabitable nature. From its towering volcanic mountains that reached the heavens to its ever-shifting landscapes that could swallow entire expeditions, Kaker was a planet of chaos and destruction. The planet's surface was a constant battle between fire and earth, with fiery eruptions and seismic tremors being a regular occurrence. The toxic jungles, thick with poisonous gases, were a maze of overgrown vegetation and towering trees, where survival was impossible for those who lacked the right knowledge. The skies were no better, often darkened by violent lightning storms that cracked across the horizon, shaking the planet to its core. It was a place where only the most powerful and well-equipped explorers stood a chance of surviving, but even they rarely returned. The planet's reputation spread like wildfire, and despite numerous expeditions from advanced alien species, Kaker remained unconquered and feared. Even the Nexi, a technologically advanced and militarily dominant race, known for their prowess in battle, failed to withstand Kaker's unforgiving environment. Their attempts to colonize or mine the planet's riches ended in disaster, with many of their best soldiers and scientists meeting a violent end. Their superior weapons and technology, which had dominated countless other planets, were rendered useless in the face of Kaker's unpredictable terrain. The storms that ravaged the skies neutralized their shields, while the aggressive wildlife, once thought to be mere predators, proved to be highly coordinated and intelligent. Any who set foot on Kaker were met with immediate hostility from both the planet itself and the creatures that roamed its surface. The death toll of every expedition mounted, leading to Kaker being classified as a death world, a place too dangerous to be tamed, feared even by the most powerful civilizations across the galaxy. The first significant expedition to Kaker was led by the Nexi, an alien race whose military might and technological supremacy were known far and wide across the galaxy. The Nexi were accustomed to conquering hostile planets, mastering alien environments, and establishing dominance over their surroundings. However, they found themselves utterly unprepared for the merciless nature of Kaker. Despite their advanced weapons, energy shields, and heavy armor, the Nexi were quickly overwhelmed by the planet's violent and ever-changing conditions. Their high-tech equipment, once impervious to the harshest environments, proved useless against the planet's atmosphere. The toxic gases that clouded the air rendered their protective suits ineffective, while the electrical storms tore through their technology, disabling communications and weaponry. The dense jungles, filled with creatures far more dangerous and intelligent than they had anticipated, made it nearly impossible to navigate. Within days, most of the Nexi expedition was wiped out, and those who survived brought back stories of horror and disbelief. The once mighty Nexi were humbled by the sheer power of Kaker, a force beyond anything they had ever encountered. As the survivors reported their findings, the Nexi scientists began to piece together a terrifying theory. Kaker was not just a deadly environment. It was alive. The planet itself appeared to have an uncanny ability to anticipate and thwart any efforts to colonize or conquer it. The Nexi theorized that Kaker might be a sentient world, a living entity with the power to control its environment in order to keep intruders at bay. This hypothesis was supported by the behavior of the planet's creatures. Once believed to be simple, savage predators, these creatures were revealed to be part of a larger, coordinated system, acting with intelligence and purpose. They worked together in highly complex social structures, communicating in ways that no species had previously understood. The Nexi were stunned. What they had once thought of as a hostile, inanimate world was, in fact, an active participant in its own defense. The creatures, which included massive winged lizards, venomous insect swarms, and enormous ground-shaking beasts, were not just animals. They were guardians, a living army defending the planet's sanctity. This new understanding made Kaker even more impenetrable. The Nexi, despite their might, realized that this was no world to conquer through force. It was a place that demanded respect, and even the most advanced civilizations had failed to understand it fully. Thus, for years, Kaker remained a forbidden world, its mysteries unsolved, and its defenses impenetrable. After the Nexi failed to conquer Kaker, the galaxy was left with a lingering sense of fear and helplessness toward the planet. Despite the Nexi's technological prowess and military strength, they had been outmatched by the sheer ferocity and complexity of Kaker's environment. For decades, no other alien race dared to challenge the planet, and the idea of colonizing it became a distant, laughable thought. Even mercenary groups, drawn to Kaker by rumors of its untapped resources, quickly found themselves out of their depth. They soon realized that survival on Kaker was an impossible dream. The planet's unpredictable weather patterns, toxic atmosphere, and deadly creatures were an insurmountable challenge for anyone who tried to tame it. The fear surrounding Kaker grew with each failed expedition, and soon the planet became known as the Death World, a place to be avoided at all costs. Kaker's reputation spread across the galaxy, and the thought of conquering it was abandoned as an unachievable, even suicidal endeavor. But what the galaxy didn't know was that humanity, with its unique perspective and approach, was about to take a bold step into Kaker's hostile terrain. Unlike other alien races, the humans had learned through their own struggles on Earth that survival was not about brute force or domination. It was about understanding, adaptation, and cooperation. When Commander Aiden Reese and his specially selected human expeditionary force arrived on Kaker, they weren't there to conquer the planet or impose their will on it. Instead, they aimed to understand the planet's complex ecosystem and learn how to survive on it. Their goal was not to dominate, but to coexist. The humans, having witnessed the failures of other species, knew they needed to approach Kaker differently. They were not just going to survive. They were going to learn from the planet, adapt to it, and find a way to coexist with its creatures and its environment. This approach set them apart from everyone who had come before them, and it would prove to be the key to unlocking Kaker's secrets and surviving its deadly challenges. The humans understood that conquering Kaker wasn't a matter of overpowering it. It was a matter of gaining its trust, studying its creatures, and learning to live in harmony with its dangers. As Commander Aiden Reese and his team of human specialists began their mission on Kaker, they quickly realized that brute force and weaponry were ineffective against the planet's complex and unpredictable nature. Unlike the Nexi and other alien forces, who had relied on advanced weapons and military strength, the humans understood that survival on Kaker required a different approach entirely. They began by carefully studying the planet's ecosystems, observing the behavior of its creatures, and identifying patterns in the storms and environmental shifts. Rather than using weapons or traps, the humans focused on gaining an understanding of the planet's intricate balance. They observed the creatures' interactions, noting that what appeared to be simple predatory behavior was in fact highly organized and cooperative. Through patience and careful observation, the humans came to realize that Kaker was not just a deadly world. It was a living world with an intelligence and rhythm all its own. By respecting the natural world of Kaker and learning to work with it, the humans could begin to navigate its hazards rather than fight against them. One of the most remarkable achievements during this phase of the mission was Commander Reese's ability to tame one of Kaker's most fearsome creatures, the Kaker DRA. Standing over 10 meters tall, with scales as hard as steel, the Kaker DRA had long been considered the apex predator of the planet. Its mere presence could send shockwaves through the terrain, and it was known to strike fear into any who dared to approach. But Reese, using the knowledge he had gained from observing the creatures, approached the Kaker DRA with respect and patience. Over the course of months, he gained the creature's trust, learning how to communicate with it through subtle cues and gestures. What was once seen as a deadly adversary became a valuable ally, a symbol of humanity's unique ability to understand and adapt. This breakthrough proved to the humans and to the galaxy that it was possible to coexist with Kaker, to tame its dangers without the need for violence. Reese's success with the Kaker DRA shattered the long-standing belief that Kaker was a planet to be feared and avoided. It showed that humanity had discovered a way to thrive on the Death World, not through force, but through intelligence, cooperation, and a deep understanding of the planet's natural rhythms. As the months passed, Commander Aiden Reese and his team continued to make incredible progress on Kaker, revealing more about the planet's unique nature with each passing day. Unlike the Nexi or other species who had failed to conquer the planet due to their reliance on overwhelming force, the humans took a radically different approach. Instead of seeking to dominate Kaker, they began to forge connections with the environment itself. By studying the intricate patterns of the creature's movements and behaviors, the humans discovered that the planet's so-called ferocious beasts were not merely mindless predators, but highly intelligent beings capable of cooperation and even communication. The planet's creatures, once thought to be solely violent, were part of a complex social structure, working in unison to protect their domain. The humans quickly realized that Kaker was alive in a way no one had anticipated. Its creatures were not only surviving, but thriving through an understanding of their surroundings and each other. The land itself seemed to respond to the humans' attempts at cooperation, rather than resistance. Slowly but surely, Reese and his team adapted. And in doing so, they began to unlock the secrets to surviving on the planet and even learning to use its resources. One of the defining moments of the human success on Kaker came when Reese, through weeks of careful interaction, successfully tamed the Kaker DRA, a massive, armored beast that had long been considered the epitome of the planet's dangerous wildlife. The DRA, towering over 10 meters tall with scales harder than steel, was a creature that the Nexi and other alien races had once believed impossible to approach, let alone tame. But Reese, using a combination of patience, respect, and deep understanding of the creature's behaviors, managed to establish a bond. He was able to ride the Kaker DRA and use it to his advantage in the harsh environments of Kaker. This breakthrough not only proved that humanity could survive on Kaker, it demonstrated that humans could coexist with the planet's predators, even mastering them. It also sent a powerful message to the galaxy. Humanity had unlocked the key to surviving on Kaker, not through violence, but through patience, intelligence, and the ability to adapt. The rest of the universe had underestimated the humans, seeing them as just another fledgling species. But in truth, humanity had revealed that it was not the strongest who survived, but the most intelligent and adaptable. As Commander Aiden Reese and his team continued their mission on Kaker, their bond with the planet deepened, and their understanding of its living ecosystem became more profound. Unlike other alien races who had only sought to conquer Kaker with superior weapons and technology, the humans took a more subtle and effective approach. They learned to live with the planet instead of trying to dominate it. Their scientists and engineers worked closely with the creatures, observing their habits, their patterns, and their social structures. They didn't see the creatures as obstacles to be overcome, but as complex beings with their own systems of survival. By forging a mutual respect and gaining the trust of the predators, the humans unlocked the delicate balance of Kekur's ecosystem. The more they understood, the more they realized that the planet wasn't a wasteland of mindless beasts. It was a thriving, self-sustaining environment where every creature had a role to play. Reese and his team learned that Kekur's danger lay not in its creatures themselves, but in misunderstanding them. The true challenge of the world was not brute strength. It was the ability to read the land and its inhabitants, to find harmony within chaos. In a stunning moment of achievement, Reese became the first human to tame one of Kekur's most terrifying creatures, the Kekur Dra. This colossal, armored beast had been seen as the apex predator on the planet, fierce, untamable, and beyond the reach of any other species. However, Reese's method of patience, careful observation, and understanding broke the boundaries of what was thought possible. Over time, Reese learned to communicate with the creature, using body language and subtle gestures to convey his intentions. When the bond between the two was solidified, Reese was able to mount the DRA and use it for practical purposes, such as traversing the dangerous volcanic mountains and dense jungles of Kekur. This achievement not only proved that humanity had the ability to tame the planet's wildest forces, but also demonstrated that humans could coexist with the deadliest of creatures through intelligence and respect. Reese's success marked a turning point, showing the galaxy that humanity had cracked the code to surviving and thriving on Kekur. The once mythical Death World was now under the control of humans, not by force or domination, but through understanding and coexistence, a concept that the Nexi and other advanced civilizations had never considered. As the humans' relationship with Kekur evolved, so did their understanding of the planet's incredible resilience and complexities. Commander Aiden Reese and his team realized that Kekur's violent storms, deadly landscapes, and predatory creatures were not simply obstacles to be overcome, but integral parts of the planet's ecosystem, each playing a role in its survival. They began to study the natural flow of energy, the patterns of the lightning storms, and the volcanic activity that shaped the planet's surface. Through careful observation, the humans uncovered the underlying systems that govern the world, and rather than viewing Kekur as a hostile environment, they came to see it as a world with its own rules that, if understood, could be used to their advantage. The storm-filled jungles, once thought impassable, became a source of energy and raw materials that the humans learned to harness. The volcanic mountains, previously seen as deadly hazards, held secrets of rare minerals and gases that could be extracted in safe, sustainable ways. The more they discovered, the more the humans realized that Kekur's hostility was not inherent, but a defense mechanism against those who sought to conquer it through force. The planet itself was not a place to be conquered. It was a place to be respected and learned from. The breakthrough came when the humans, with their understanding of the planet's natural rhythms, started working with Kekur's creatures to help manage and protect the valuable resources the planet offered. Rather than hunting the beasts for their raw materials, they learned to form symbiotic relationships, where both the humans and the creatures benefited. This cooperation extended to the planet's diverse wildlife, including the massive Kekur Dra, whose scale and strength were once considered an obstacle to survival. Now, these creatures served as protectors of the humans' newly established bases, guarding them from the planet's more dangerous predators. In a series of collaborative efforts, the humans discovered methods to cultivate the planet's resources without destroying the environment, creating sustainable energy sources, food, and building materials that were previously unimaginable. The way they treated the planet, through respect, understanding, and careful stewardship, became the foundation of their success. This revolutionary approach not only changed the way humans interacted with Kekur, but also changed the way they were perceived by the galaxy. The Nexi, who once viewed humanity as an inferior and inexperienced race, began to see them in a new light. The humans had tamed Kekur, but not through brute strength. Instead, they had achieved mastery over the Death World through ingenuity, patience, and an unprecedented ability to adapt to the environment's challenges. This was no longer a battle for survival. It was a triumph of intelligence, a testament to humanity's capacity to learn and adapt in the face of even the most daunting challenges. As the months passed, humanity's presence on Kaker began to shift from being a fragile outpost to a thriving, well-integrated community. Commander Aiden Reese's leadership was pivotal in guiding his team through the process of adapting to Kaker's hostile environment. One of the key insights they discovered was the immense importance of cooperation, not just between the humans themselves, but with the planet's native creatures. Unlike previous explorers who attempted to dominate Kaker, the humans chose to coexist with its dangerous wildlife. By observing the creatures, including the giant Kaker DRA, they began to understand the complex social structures that govern these animals. The once feared apex predator was no longer just a threat, but became an ally. Through patience and strategic interaction, Reese managed to forge a bond with the DRA, who had once been a symbol of the planet's deadly power. The creature, towering over 10 meters tall with scales as hard as steel, was now a protector, guiding the humans through treacherous terrains and acting as a natural deterrent against more hostile predators. This relationship with the Kaker DRA was just the beginning of a broader transformation. The humans learned that Kaker's creatures were not mindless beasts, but highly intelligent beings that communicated with each other through complex signals, body language, and even biochemical cues. The humans started applying their knowledge of animal behavior to work alongside the creatures, rather than fighting them. This approach opened new avenues of survival and resource acquisition. For example, they discovered that certain species of insects, previously seen as mere pests, were in fact key to pollinating rare plants that produced vital medicinal compounds. The indigenous creatures, once viewed solely as dangerous, were now understood as essential elements of the ecosystem that could help maintain balance, not just by protecting the humans, but also by sustaining the planet's life force. This ecological understanding became the cornerstone of humanity's success on Kaker, as they turned what was once considered a death world into a sustainable living environment. Over time, the human presence on Kaker evolved from being an outlier to becoming an integral part of the planet's ecosystem, demonstrating humanity's ability to adapt and thrive in even the most unforgiving environments. When the Raxi, the once mighty alien race that had initially failed to conquer Kaker, returned to reclaim their dominance, they were met with an unexpected reality. The humans, who had been on Kaker for only a fraction of the time compared to the Raxi's failed attempts, had succeeded in transforming the planet. The Raxi, who had previously viewed Kaker as an impossible world to conquer, were shocked to find that it was no longer the death world they remembered. Instead, it had been tamed, not through brute force, but through an intricate understanding of its ecosystem and creatures. Commander Reese's ability to form a bond with the Kaker DRA and other deadly creatures had turned the tide. The Raxi, who had once believed their superior technology and military strength would give them the upper hand, now saw that the humans had used intelligence, patience, and adaptability to bend the planet to their will. The sight of massive armored beasts working alongside the humans, patrolling the jungles and guiding them through the most hazardous areas, was a testament to how much had changed. The Raxi's return to Kaker marked a turning point in the galaxy's perception of humanity. No longer seen as a fledgling species, the humans had earned the respect and fear of the most powerful beings in the universe. They had not only survived on Kaker, but had mastered its wilds, unlocking the planet's potential in ways that no other race had even considered. The humans had proven that survival was not about raw strength or advanced technology, but about the ability to understand and adapt to the environment. This victory resonated throughout the galaxy, making it clear that humanity was not to be underestimated. The legend of Kaker, once a symbol of terror, had now become a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The Raxi, once the dominant force, now faced the reality that they had been outsmarted by a race they had dismissed as insignificant. Kaker was no longer a death world. It was a kingdom ruled by the intelligence and resilience of humanity. As the story of humanity's success on Kaker spread throughout the galaxy, the implications were far-reaching. The legend of how the human expedition, under the leadership of Commander Aiden Reese, had turned the most dangerous planet known to any civilization into a world of survival, mastery, and cooperation, reshaped the galactic understanding of what it meant to conquer. It was no longer just about strength or advanced technology. The humans had demonstrated the power of adaptability, intelligence, and respect for nature. While other species had been destroyed or forced to abandon Kaker, the humans had not only survived but had learned to thrive in one of the deadliest environments in the universe. This achievement was not just about taming the beasts of Kaker, but about forging a connection with the planet itself, recognizing its unique ecosystem, and living in harmony with it. Commander Reese's team had unlocked the secrets of the Death World, proving that even the most hostile and seemingly uninhabitable places could be understood, respected, and ultimately mastered. The new era of humanity's reputation began with the transformation of Kaker, which quickly became known as a human world. The once feared planet, which had served as a symbol of terror, was now a testament to the ingenuity of the human race. For the first time, the galaxy saw humanity not just as survivors, but as rulers. Rulers not by the sword, but by understanding, cooperation, and a deep understanding of their environment. The Raxi, who had once dominated the galaxy with their power, had now been forced to acknowledge that humanity had mastered something that even their greatest military minds could not. The fear of Kaker faded, and in its place, there was a growing sense of awe and respect for the humans who had tamed it. The Death World had become a symbol not only of humanity's strength, but of its potential to overcome any obstacle in the universe. The galaxy would never again underestimate the humans who had turned Kaker, a world of destruction and chaos, into a thriving, sustainable kingdom, one that now stood as a shining example of the power of intelligence and resilience.